Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, or good afternoon, depending on where you're joining us from. Thank you so much for being a part of the Jordan Singapore Tech Alliance webinar. My name is Dana Dervish, Program Manager at Jordan Source under the Ministry of Digital Economy and Entrepreneurship, and I'm going to be your host for today. We are so excited about today's webinar because it comes as a follow-up to a lot of the strong and bilateral ties that bring Jordan and Singapore together. And after our last visit to Singapore, early 2024, we realized how much of kindred spirits both nations are. And we're hoping that through initiatives like this and through the power of partnership, like our partners that are helping us with this webinar, we're going to be able to strengthen these ties and really increase collaboration and innovation across both nations. So we have a fantastic lineup of speakers today, and I'm so grateful for all of their time. And we're also going to be talking about the business side. We're going to be taking some of your questions. And this webinar is really a result of the long-standing collaboration between Jordan and Singapore. And it's a reflection of the tight-knit ties that really bring people and possibilities together to create a brighter future for everyone. So before we begin, allow me to play a quick video showcasing a little bit of information about Jordan's technology sector.
Jordan's ICT sector proved to be exceptionally resilient. Jordan's quality talent delivers a well-educated, bilingual, tech-savvy, and price-competitive workforce. We are making long-term commitments to invest in this booming sector and to empower companies who engage Jordanian ITOs and BPOs. Join us as we take this leap into a bright, promising future.
It's always so exciting to see the power that technology can hold in creating a better future for everyone. And to tell us a little bit more about this vision, allow me to introduce His Excellency Engineer Sami Smirat, Minister of Digital Economy and Entrepreneurship, for a welcoming remark.
In Singapore and Jordan. This event provides us with an excellent opportunity to explore ways to further strengthen our ties in the dynamic and rapidly growing sectors of BPO, ICT, creative industries, and gaming. We are also excited to share a preview of the tangible outcomes from this collaboration. I would like to extend my sincere gratitude to everyone who helped bring this event to life. The Jordanian Embassy in Singapore, the Singapore Business Federation, the Action Community for Entrepreneurship, and BIGO. And of course, thank you to everyone for joining us today. Our strategic partnership with Singapore dates back to the 80s, with a relationship that has been growing steadily over the years. In fact, Jordan was the first Arab country to establish a free trade agreement with Singapore back in 2004. This is because the two countries have a lot in common. We both share a pragmatic approach to economic development, with emphasis on digital transformation and innovation. Last year, a delegation of ICT sector leaders, headed by His Royal Highness Prince Al Hussein bin Abdullah II, arrived at Singapore with an aim of strengthening our strategic partnership. The official delegation took part in the first year The official delegation took part in the first ever Jordan-Singapore Tech Alliance Forum, which brought together 275 representatives from both Singapore's private and public sectors. The forum also witnessed the signing of two major memorandum of understanding. One of these MOUs was signed with Bigo, one of Singapore's fast-growing technology companies. It first opened its offices in Amman in 2019, continuing to expand its operation. Today, Bigo has expanded to Irbid as well. Building on the delegation last year, today's event is a direct result of the ongoing work between the two countries. We are hopeful that many more initiatives will follow in the years to come. The Hashemite Kingdom of Jordan has emerged as a regional leader in the ICT, BPO, creative and gaming sector. Our thriving startup ecosystem is a testament to the talent and ambition that drives innovation, with nearly one-third of the top 100 startups in the Middle East originating from Jordan. Such successes do not fly under the radar. International giants have recognized Jordan's potential with notable acquisitions such as Jawakir, one of the kingdom's largest gaming companies, which was acquired by Stillfront Group in 2021. Similarly, Maktoub's acquisition by Yahoo and Amazon's purchase of Souq.com further underscores Jordan's reputation as a hub for cutting-edge technologies and businesses. In addition to its entrepreneurial mindset of its people, the kingdom has become a leading destination for IT outsourcing, attracting global giants such as IBM, Microsoft, Samsung. Jordan attractive to international companies for the financial incentives it offers, including market expansion grants, grants for upskilling and training programs, and competitive tax incentives. These figures highlight not only the potential, but the reality of Jordan as a leading hub for digital and technological innovation. With a skilled workforce, advanced infrastructure, and competitive business environment, Jordan is perfectly positioned to support Singapore and its wealth of companies looking to expand or optimize their operations. This webinar represents a crucial step in doing that. We are here today to help you and everyone explore the opportunities between the two markets. I look forward to exploring new avenues of collaboration and for Jordan and Singapore to continue strengthening their ties that bind us. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Excellency. And I feel like since our beginning of the collaboration with Singapore, we've really realized the importance and the power of partnership. And that's something that we really hold close and dear to our hearts at the Ministry of Digital Economy and Entrepreneurship and Jordan Source. So before we continue, I would like to send a little thank you to our partners at the Jordanian Embassy in Singapore and to our partners at the Singaporean Embassy in Jordan, as well as SPF, that have been unrelenting partners in every step of our journey since the beginning of collaboration till now. And without further ado, allow me to introduce His Excellency Samir Naber, Ambassador of Jordan to Singapore. Your Excellency, the floor is yours.
Minister Smirat, for your kind introduction, and Ambassador Zaman, good afternoon to you. Good morning, Jordan. We are happy to be facilitating the Tech Alliance between Jordan and Singapore. One of my earliest calls in Singapore was to visit the CEO of Bigo. Why Bigo? Because of the huge presence in Jordan. If I try to pitch Jordan as as an ambassador, I will sound like a used car salesman. But when Bigo talks about their positive experience in Jordan, that's something else. So we started from there, and we're hoping, as His Excellency said, to expand on the MOU that was signed between Intaj and Bigo. We're trying to formalize the informal agreement currently underway between Bigo and Singaporean businesses, where Bigo hosts Singaporean businesses for 6 months in their offices and gives them an enabling environment, whether be it on business context, legal help, etc. Despite the geopolitical negative vibes that came as a result of the environment in the Middle East, we are proud to say that two Singaporean companies, opened shop in Jordan. And these are, in no small measure, Clean Kinetics, who are going to feature later on as a result of this arrangement with Bigo. And in addition to Meinhardt, which is a big technology consulting company global wise. And the buck doesn't stop there. As His Excellency just kindly mentioned, the embassy is embarked on reaching out to BPO digital companies, huge conglomerates in Singapore. One of them actually quite recently, a couple of weeks ago, we had a webinar with TDCX, Transformative Digital Customer Experience, which are one of the biggest BPOs in the world. And they were positive, upbeat about Jordan. And for us, we would like to have a take two with them, hopefully under the chairmanship of His Excellency Minister Smerat, where we can shed some light, because they asked specific questions about the competitiveness of Jordan vis-a-vis Turkey, vis-a-vis Egypt, vis-a-vis Saudi Arabia. And of course, Jordan has its comparative advantages, whether we have of course, the wages might be lower in Egypt, but the expertise is in Jordan. Skill level is in Jordan. And same thing in terms of cost of city, might be higher in Turkey, despite the level of expertise being the same. But we are actually seeking, and hopefully the panel can shed light on this, on the IT cost of setting shop in Jordan, the exact figures, the labor law related costs such as OT calculations, and salaries for two-tier cities like Amman, corporate salary for additional costs such as social insurance, etc., and other government taxes paid by the employer. So these questions will be crucial for Jordan to further, enhance its presence and digital footprint in Singapore, and hopefully attracting more companies, in addition to the ones that we did, despite the difficult geopolitical environment in the Middle East. And despite the crisis of Gaza, we have two Singaporean companies opening up in Jordan, and the embassy is proud to have facilitated that. With no further ado, I would leave it as such. And please feel free to contact the embassy if you need anything, and we can facilitate again the contacts with Minister Smerat, His Excellency, with Jordan Source, with Dana. You have been fabulous, in launching the Tech Alliance under the leadership of His Royal Highness Crown Prince Al Hussein bin Abdullah, who inaugurated this alliance. And again, thank you for everyone, and looking forward to following up with each and every one of you.
Thank you, Your Excellency. And we always say seeing is believing, and all of the examples that His Excellency Samir gave about Bigo and all of the other collaborations in the pipeline, we will be hearing from some of them today. So I'm really excited about that. And of course, we always thank you for your time and your partnership and all of the efforts that you do to really advance these bilateral ties. And speaking of bilateral ties and time and effort, we have to recognize the unbelievable push that His Excellency Ambassador Zaman has been doing to really strengthen the connections. And I remember one of my earliest meetings at the ministry was with Ambassador Zaman, and how he championed every idea, every light at the end of the tunnel of where there could be collaboration. We always found a lot of support behind it, and that shows how we all come together with a shared vision for the future. So today, His Excellency Ambassador Zaman joins us wearing two hats. So he's going to be talking about SBF and their role in the Middle East and in Jordan, and of course, as the ambassador of Singapore to Jordan. So without further ado, allow me to introduce His Excellency Ambassador Zaman.
Can you hear me? Is it clear? Okay. Your Excellency Sami Samirat, Minister of Digital Economy and Entrepreneurship of Jordan. Your Excellency Samir Naber, Ambassador of Jordan to Singapore. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum and a very good morning. It is my privilege to address you today at the Jordan-Singapore Tech Alliance webinar. I am the Singapore's non-resident ambassador to Jordan, as well as the chairperson of Singapore Business Federation's Middle East Business Group. On behalf of Singapore government and SPF, I extend our sincere appreciation to the Minister of Digital Economy and Entrepreneurship of Jordan, His Excellency Sami Samirat, as well as Jordanian Ambassador to Singapore, His Excellency Saber Naber, for hosting this vital event. This platform, which brings together thought leaders, entrepreneurs, and industry experts from both our nations, marks another important chapter in the strengthening of our bilateral ties. As the chairman of SPF's Middle East Business Group, I have had the opportunity to witness firsthand the growth of our collaboration with Jordan over the past few years. Today, we not only celebrate the progress we have made, but also look to the future with a shared understanding that success requires continuous and strategic collaboration, as well as practical and measurable results. In 2024, we witnessed significant steps forward in our partnership. One of the key moments for Jordan-Singapore Tech Alliance Forum, held in January 2024, under the distinguished patronage of His Royal Highness Crown Prince Al Hussein bin Abdullah. This forum saw the signing of two memorandum of understanding, one between the Action Community for Entrepreneur, ACE, and the Ministry of Digital Economy and Entrepreneurship, MODI, and another between Singapore's FinTech Academy and Jordan's Institute of Banking Studies to foster closer collaboration in FinTech. These MOUs are important milestones as they represent the strategic framework for our ongoing collaboration and are the starting point for building long-term, actionable partnerships. However, while we take pride in these achievements, we must recognize that moving forward, execution in what truly matters. It is not enough to sign agreement. We must focus on making these relationships work in the real world, driving innovation, expanding opportunities, and ensuring mutual benefit. At SPF, we have been focused on ensuring that the initiatives we mark on are grounded in the real world opportunities. Our role is not simply to facilitate introduction, but to ensure that businesses have the tools, resources, and strategic insights they need to succeed in this evolving market. In November 2023, SPF co-organized the Invest in Jordan, where imagination meets opportunity, seminar aimed at providing Singaporean businesses with a deep dive into the Jordan's evolving investment landscape, including insights into the latest updates to Jordan Vision 2025. This initiative generated interest from companies in ICT, renewable energy, and smart city solutions to go deeper and explore opportunities in Jordan. Furthermore, SPF continues to collaborate with key players such as Bigo Technology, which has been instrumental in facilitating the Singapore-Jordan Incubation Program. Singaporean startups looking to expand into Middle East and North Africa region may use Jordan as a hub for this expansion. The real world on the ground collaboration is a model for what we hope to continue scaling. As we look to the future, there are clearer areas where the synergies between Singapore and Jordan can lead to impactful, sustainable partnership. One of these is a burgeoning renewable energy sector in Jordan, where country is aiming to generate 50% of its electricity from renewables by 2030. Singapore's leadership in energy management, solar technologies, and clean energy solutions offer a pathway for significant collaborations. Clean Kinetics, a Singapore company that has already ventured into the Jordanian market, exemplifies how Singaporean companies can make a meaningful impact in sectors aligned with Jordan's sustainability goals. Additionally, the ICT sector in Jordan, one of the fastest growing in the region, presents opportunities for Singapore tech companies to contribute their expertise in digital payments, cloud solutions, artificial intelligence, and blockchain. The Jordan National Broadband Project presents a critical infrastructure platform that enhances the country's digital connectivity. This creates new opportunities for businesses and startups. This is an area where Singapore's strength in digital transformation and smart city solutions are directly aligned with Jordan's objectives. Finally, we must also turn our attention to water management, an area of increasing importance in Jordan, given its limited natural resources. Singapore's expertise in sustainable water solutions, including water recycling and management, presents a significant opportunity to contribute to Jordan's water sustainability goals, and SPS is committed to facilitating these connections. Efforts to propagate opportunities and knowledge of Jordan in 2024 represent significant progress. However, sustainable success can only be achieved with continuous engagement, focused collaboration, and clear, measurable outcomes. SPF understands that achieving meaningful outcomes in internationalization requires realistic, well-executed plans backed by strong local partnership. We continue to work closely with our counterparts in Jordan to refine and adapt our approaches, ensuring that our engagements translate into real-world business success. In conclusion, I would say that today's webinar represents just one part of a much broader journey. The opportunities are abundant, but we must continue to build on the foundation laid by initiatives like the Jordan-Singapore Tech Alliance Forum and the Invest in Jordan Seminar. Thank you once again to the Ministry of Digital Economy and Entrepreneurship of Jordan and to Ambassador Samer and his office for facilitating this important dialogue. We look forward to engaging and rewarding exchange in the webinar. Shukran and thank you very much.
Thank you, Your Excellency. We always appreciate your encouraging words and your time that's spent with us and everything that you do to advance these ties. So I'm sure you've already noticed we've mentioned a few companies quite a few times so far. So we've been talking about Bigo, and I remember walking into the Bigo offices in Singapore, and Ian, I'm sure will tell us a bit more about this later, but they had like a big map of the world, and they had two little hearts in Jordan, signifying their Amman office and their Irbid office. And I know that seeing that was such a morale boost and such an exciting moment for all of our delegation to see how Bigo is operating in Jordan. And we're going to talk about that a little bit more during our panel. And we also mentioned Clean Kinetics. So I'm really happy that today we are joined with the Chief Engineering Officer of Clean Kinetics to tell us a little bit about their journey in Jordan. So allow me to introduce a very special guest, Mr. Wilson. As a leader at Clean Kinetics, he brings almost 20 years of experience in engineering and international business development. This extensive background includes pivotal roles in engineering and finance. And most importantly, he's been using this experience to expand Clean Kinetics' presence in the Middle East. So I'm really honored to be joined with Mr. Wilson. I know you're And I love that the background also really matches what we're going to be talking about, doesn't it? So hi, Mr. Wilson, how's it going?
Yes, very good afternoon, Your Excellency, ladies and gentlemen. Really sorry, I think the video image is probably a little bit blurry because I'm actually in the provincial city in Thailand. I'm actually sitting in a car right now that's traveling like at 140 kilometers an hour while taking this call. So really sorry, I wanted to make sure that I could be part of this very meaningful event, but unfortunately the business schedule, I'm traveling on the road while taking the call.
Well, hopefully you're in the passenger seat, not in the driver's seat
I
of this car.
apologize if yes, I got a driver that's taking me on this trip. Yes.
Fantastic. And I think that this is really such a showcase of what it's like to do business internationally today, right? You find opportunities to collaborate and to innovate across the globe. And you've been championing this effort for clean kinetics in the Middle East in particular. So to start off, tell us a little bit about clean kinetics and their operations.
Sure. Focusing mainly on two business vertical, solar, wind, and battery storage solution infrastructure. So streams that we have in Jordan, we are operating in the United Arab Emirates, in Oman, in Qatar, in Riyadh, in Saudi Arabia, and of course in the Kingdom of Jordan as well. Our business is quite homogeneous. We choose to focus on areas which we have experience and perhaps considered as subject matter experts, and therefore we are highly focused in what we do, and our philosophy and our business objective of investing in Jordan is very similar to where we come from as well. We choose to focus on the renewable energy sector because we actually see a lot of potential in Jordan, especially with the newer generations of adoption in technology, as well as adoption of electric vehicle solutions. I think the future is actually very, very bright for participants in this particular sector, and that's where Clean Kinetics hopes to play its role in contributing to the growth that I think is currently being experienced in Jordan right now.
Fantastic. And I feel like from a business perspective, nobody needs to work in a specific country anymore, right? So for example, today you're in Thailand, companies are originally Singaporean. It shows you how interconnected the world has become. But I'm sure that a decision like setting up in a new region comes after a lot of due diligence and a lot of research. And this is part of your overall focus on the Middle East. What did that decision-making process look like for you?
I think for small medium enterprise like us, a lot of this comes with opportunity that comes via the network of people that already have experience in operating in that region. It may not be in the similar or the same industry as we operate, but I think some reference point would usually be important for us to take that first step. So via the Singapore Business Federation, as well as the embassy, the ambassador, Ambassador Zamam, Ambassador Samir, we organized actually a delegation trip to Amman, to Jordan last year in April. That was our first foray into the kingdom. We were very, very warmly welcomed by the various ministries, as well as the Crown Prince Office, BIGO as well, to show us what it is like, to operate a business in Jordan. And I think that helps us to gain a lot of confidence when entering into a new market, knowing that there is a wide and very supportive, like a network of relationships that we can rely upon should the journey along the way, we need some help. So I think as with all initial decisions made into entering into a market, we do our own feasibility. We understand the local market condition, but most importantly, we look at what are some of the support network that we have that we can rely upon, and with that, actually making a decision to invest in Jordan was actually rather straightforward for us. Another point that perhaps act a little bit to our favor is that we actually have other offices in the region. So we are not entirely new to the Middle East market. So actually it's quite natural for us to consider Jordan as a expansion as part of our entire Middle East footprint. Yes.
Brilliant. Thank you so much for your time, Mr. Wilson. I know that it's a very demanding schedule, and I'm happy that we managed to catch you in between your different business engagements. And hopefully this is only the beginning of Clean Kinetics in Jordan and the beginning of many conversations. So thank you so much and safe travels.
Thank you so much. Yep. Thank you.
Great. So speaking of businesses, expansion, and the overall look of collaboration in technology in the Middle East and specifically in Jordan, I am so excited to introduce you to our panelists. We have a stellar panel prepared for you today. So allow me to introduce some of our speakers. So we're going to be starting off with of course, our partners in this webinar. From Bigo, we have Mr. Ian Goh, who is a director at Bigo Singapore. And if you have met Ian before, you will know that entrepreneurial spirit is one way to describe him. You see it in everything that he does, and it really has such a big impact on the way that things are structured in Bigo. And he has launched a number of products and different projects over the years. So we're really excited to be talking about this. And of course, we're going to also be talking about some of the massive successes. So getting any platform to reach 100 million viewers, right? That is not an easy feat. So we have Mr. Ian Goh. We're also joined by someone that actually taught me. So my own mentor, Mr. Frank Slivka, who is going to be telling us more about IB Media Group. He oversees and leads the expansion of international business activities. He has over 30 years of experience in digital entertainment, gaming, esports, and is really such a key player in the field. And whenever you see the words esports in the region, know that Frank is somehow involved, and I think that that's very exciting. And of course, our very own from the Ministry of Digital Economy and Entrepreneurship under the Youth Technology and Jobs Program, Awad Haddadin, who leads on so many of the incentives and grants that are really supporting the journey of a lot of Jordanian companies to expand into new markets like Singapore, for example, and for international markets and companies to really tap into the potential that Jordan holds. So thank you to our panelists for joining us today. We're going to be starting off with our first round of questions. Since Bigo are our partners on today's webinar, they've been our partners in multiple ways, whether on a national level when it comes to Jordan's ITO and BPO sectors, and of course, our various activities to really strengthen this relationship and through the Bigo incubation program. So thank you for joining us, and thank you for everything that you do to really strengthen this relationship. And since we were talking about innovation and how you're really doing such a big push to foster that, can you tell us a little bit about your role within Bigo and where innovation comes into that?
Sure. Thank you, Dana, and Ramadan Kareem, everyone. I'm currently in Jordan, so I understand the festival that we are having right now. So to give you a bit of context, I think for those who don't know what Bigo Technology is about, Bigo Technology is a Singapore-based tech company with the focus of using artificial intelligence for real-time communication. We have currently 3 products, which is Bigo Live, which is a live streaming app and how people can live stream themselves. Number 2 is Likey, which is a short video in terms of showcasing your talents. And number 3 is IMO or Emo, some would call it. It's a communication app that focus on connecting with your loved ones. So in terms of innovation, for us in Bigo, our goal has always been about how can we merge tech and also sort of being human first. So our strategy is basically what we call glocalization, which is a mix of globalization and localization. And what we focus is that when we enter a new country, we need to understand the local culture. We need to also have to align also as well with what actually the local country actually needs. So when we started off in Middle East, I mean, Jordan was actually not our first country that we enter. So I need just to give you a bit of context also as well. And there's a reason also as well. We started probably in 2019 in Jordan, but we actually in Middle East, we were there probably in 2017, 2018. But I want to say that actually Jordan was a first country that we entered, and actually we stayed on, and actually we invest even more. So we started, I think, with 25 employees in 2019 with our first office in Amman. And then, the rest was history. We grew to around 1,000 employees. We had our second office also as well in Urbit to facilitate, especially our content moderation needs, especially in the Middle East, because it's a very, very huge region. And that's something about working with the Jordanians. We found that it's like a good match in the sense that they are able to speak really, really good English. And this is a very, very important aspect of it as well. And also very, very good Arabic, because that's something that I don't speak, and that's something that a lot of the team don't speak. And allowing us to also knowledge share, train also as well in terms of how we actually build our tech in terms of, I say, machine learning and artificial intelligence, right? We need to train our model also as well to ensure that the content that we have is safe according to the region. And so, yeah, that's, I think, something that we found that this strategy of globalization, we've actually been around in 30 different countries. We also have offices in 30 different countries, but I would say that in the whole, I mean, Singapore is one of our biggest offices also as well, but the second largest or third largest office that we have is actually in the Middle East, and actually it's in Jordan. So yeah.
That's really exciting. And the energy in the offices is really exciting as well. And I think that I loved your use of the word globalization. And I think that whenever you're looking at the creative industries as a whole, whether it is content creation, esports, gaming, the idea of creating for a specific region has become so outdated, and it cannot sustain any kind of business thinking, do you know what? I'm going to do this to serve, like, let's say these 11 million people, and that will be enough. Everyone is looking at the world with a more global eye. And I think that this is something that also Frank can speak to us a little bit about. So Frank, within IB Media, and being a company that operates across multiple regions and works in the creative industries and creative people, and sees how sometimes you do need to have that local touch to be relevant. Tell us a little bit about IB Media and how you operate again across different regions. What's your mission, and how has your company been evolving over the years? Before you start, I will ask you to unmute yourself. I'm the mute police today.
Sorry about that. Yeah, Excellencies, dear guests, dear panelists, thank you for the introduction, Dana, and I'm very happy to be here and share some experiences, what I explore over the last, I think, 30 years in the gaming, esports, and comic industry. And you asked about our mission. We are starting, more than 25 years ago with our consulting company, and our mission is still the same. And this is what I'm every time surprised if I'm talking with new clients, with old clients, older clients we have, or with people around us. Our mission is every time the same: to establish the games, esports, and comic industry within the society, but also within governments, but as brands or institutions. That's our task, what we are doing. So we are a boutique consulting company in this space. And we are very specialized in strategic advisory, management consulting, and then the implementation of the recommendation, what comes from our work. And for that, we have two pillars, what we can offer. And with one, now with both, we had the chance to work in Jordan and with Jordanian partners in the last years. One, it's our education part, where we learned when cities, countries wants to establish an ecosystem for esports and gaming. There are two big pillars needed. One is talent development, and the other one is the B2B network. So if you do this, you have to spread out the word, and you need people and companies, what you already did very successful, to bring them from Singapore to look into your country and see how you can grow the business together. And these are two pillars what we are offering. And one was our esports management courses, what we did over the last years together with our local partner in Jordan. Very successful. And what I learned is, and I have to say, it's a little bit what Ian said earlier. I didn't know so much about Jordan before I started to work there and meet people there. And I was very surprised, especially in the IT sector, that I met around the world a lot of programmers. They're educated in Jordan. So I was very, I have to say, very surprised. But then I did some more benchmarks. And this is something what we did over the years. And this is because we are working globally, so we have a huge insight in different ecosystems, how they are established. So we can learn from that, and our clients can learn from that. And I was very surprised, but what I saw and realized is there's a big foundation for our industry, if it's gaming, esports, on programming. And what I learned has happened already years ago. So there's a really good foundation. I said, okay, then this is something what we can spread out, we can help and support to grow it. And with what I said, we are more than 25 years old. We started in Germany, then we moved our headquarters 12 years ago to Singapore. We have a big insight view about how to establish ecosystems in the gaming, esports, and comic industry, and how we can support countries, cities to do that. But as you asked me about the mission, it's still the same. So I love esports, I love gaming, I love comics, I love every day of my working, and I hope I can bring this passion and our business and expertise to every partner we work together.
We really see that firsthand, I think, with IB Media. And it was around this time last year that we had the gaming summit. And we saw the kind of interactions that international players were having with our local players. And it made us realize the size of the opportunity. So Jordan, as a country, we have quite a young population. Around 51% of us is under the age of 30. And that poses such a big opportunity for the creative industries, because you have the largest demographic in the country is the demographic that you're usually serving. And I think that is really exciting, especially for the creative industries. And someone that has been working with these companies closely and firsthand, making sure that not only do they have the tools and resources to grow, but also fostering more international and regional collaborations is Oud Haddadin from our very own. So we always, I try to be a bit timid when I introduce my own colleagues so that it doesn't seem like we're biased, but truly doing some phenomenal work across Jordan's tech ecosystem. So Oud, you were part of our delegation early 2024. And since then, we realized that there is such a big potential for Jordanian companies to expand not only geographically within Jordan, the same way that Pico did, but also internationally to access new markets. And we realized that a big part of this could be done through Singapore because it's a fantastic gateway to Southeast Asian markets. And we always talk about how we look for bilateral ties, right? We want Jordanian companies to experience new markets. We want them to expand and grow. And we want international companies to tap into Jordanian talent as well. And what's really special about your incentives is that they're all structured with businesses in mind. So tell us a little bit about the Youth Technology and Jobs Program and about the incentives, please. And unmute yourself. Okay, there we go.
Yes. Thank you, Dana. It's really an honor to be on this webinar and a pleasure to be on this panel and meeting Frank and Ian. Hello, Ian, again. Hopefully we meet again in person soon. I always think that such webinars is a great opportunity to basically explain what we have in Jordan and what we are capable of in terms of Jordanian companies, Jordanian talents, and of course, the incentives that we have, which will help international companies actually access the MENA region, which is one of the biggest markets in the world through Jordan. Definitely, the Youth Technology and Jobs, since its establishment back in 2020, was with an aim to basically help accelerate the tech and tech-enabled ecosystem in Jordan and put Jordan on the map through Jordan Source for the IT outsourcing and for the investment in the tech sector. So the Youth Technology and Jobs was established because in Jordan we realized many years ago that our basically, let's call it in my own term, oil and gas, and our goal is basically lies within our talents in Jordan. So the establishment of the Youth Technology and Jobs was basically to cover two main areas, the supply and the demand. In the supply component, we have many great projects that we are working to enrich and strengthen the pool of resources that different local, regional, and international companies will benefit from, because we know for sure that the demand on technology is rising, and for that we have to accommodate. So we have many projects working, starting from public schools to universities to upskilling youth in different skills, technical skills. As you know, we established the Digital Skills Organization, managing grants for training people on different technologies. And those grants, even international companies can benefit from and apply for, to actually train and upskill people and individuals, employees, for the technology and skills that they need. Of course, this is led by my colleague Amira, and maybe for more details we can share later on. On the other component, it's the demand component, which I'm leading on. Basically, we help companies starting. I would start from the market expansion incentive that you mentioned. Definitely, for us, Singapore is one of the most important markets that we look for, especially for our companies. And we support and guide companies to expand to the countries that we see they have great potential from our visits and from our meetings that we held there. So the market expansion that we have, and all, of course, to be more structured and organized, we have this platform called Grow.jo. It's the main platform for the incentives under Moody, under the Ministry of Digital Economy and Entrepreneurship. So the market expansion, we help Jordanian registered companies. So the owner doesn't have to be Jordanian, but we help Jordanian registered company to basically expand to different markets by subsidizing the cost of business development, sales, and marketing by 50%. And for that, we have a cap per company, $100,000. Maybe for some companies, it's not a huge amount, but definitely it makes a difference for our Jordanian companies. So for that, with that amount, they can expand, they can register companies overseas, they can travel, they can hire even from that country to help them in business development and closing deals. The other subsidy that I would like to talk about is called the salary subsidy. So we help all companies registered in Jordan including companies like Mego, for example, to hire more Jordanians and help them do that by subsidizing the cost of hiring by 50% in Jordan. And the good news, we just restructured that incentive to support them more, meaning they can hire males and females in Amman, the capital, and we can subsidize 50% of the cost of hiring. And if they hire in the different governorates, we call them the underserved communities, and make them not more work remotely, which will help eventually the local economy in those governorates, we will subsidize 70% of the salary, no matter what the salary is, whether you're paying them $500 a month or $10,000 a month. So we will cover that for male and female, which will, of course, the cap for that is 300K per company, and they can apply every year since, as long as the program is there, of course. Now, the third one, it's the gig support, the gig economy support. We have, I mean, our purpose, as you know, Dana, is to create 10,000 jobs by the end of the project. And to do that, we're supporting it by creating full-time jobs, part-time, freelancing, even establishing their own businesses. So for the gig economy in specific, you don't have to hire people full-time if you don't want to. So the whole idea is that you have an innovative project or program that you can select 200 people, train them, upskill them, and onboard them on a gig platform that you build from scratch, or you own, or you collaborate with a third party for. And we cover the cost up to 200K, covering 80% of your cost, not 50-50, it's 80-20. And in order to help people like basically work on new technologies, work on new concept, get paid as they work on freelancing. So there is no commitment for you to hire them, but you help them change their mindset and see the different opportunities that lie in the world. Now, the fourth one, which I am most interested in, and I would think Singapore will be a big help to Jordan in that domain, is the intermediary support. And by that, I mean, we need consultancy companies, we need accelerators, VCs, any company in the tech and tech-enabled world to support our scale-ups in Jordan, help them expand to different countries, especially Southeast Asia market. And for that, we are supporting them. We are funding this with a grant of up to $300K US as a full grant, not a matching grant. So we will cover the full cost up to 300K, with an aim is to help us select the most potential startups, or even SMEs, by the way, and connect them with either investors, strategic partners, clients, and help them expand to that part of the world. And yeah, this is what we are looking for in terms of intermediary. And of course, it has some requirements. We'll be more than happy to have a different meeting on that and guide you through it. The fifth one and the last one is basically we're establishing tech hubs across Jordan. And those tech hubs are co-working spaces. They are provided by the government for free. So and of course, but they are in the underserved community. So we have our first one launched in east of Amman. The second one will be in the south, in Aqaba, covering also Ma'an, Tafila, and Karak in the south. And the third one will be in Irbid. You can use it for free to hire people from the government governorates, let them work from there, do your trainings, workshops, marketing campaigns, awareness, outreach, using those tech hubs. Basically, they are state-of-the-art tech hubs, equipped with the latest equipments and managed by the private sector, because this is the whole goal of our project, is we design, we fund, we supervise, and the private sector lead, which, I mean, it's the most successful equation, I hope. And yeah, we're looking to serve you there. I mean, for any company interested to be here, definitely. So
that is brilliant. Thank you so much, Hoda. And I think if you pair this with the BIGO incubation program, it's a match made in heaven, and we're making your decisions a lot easier for you. That sounded like such a sales pitch, but nonetheless, I know that our incentives are all designed with the company's growth in mind. And I think that that's all of our purpose. Because, for example, as much as Jordan Source can tell you about the competitive advantage of tapping into Jordanians' talent. But when you hear it from Bigo or when you hear it from IB Media, you really get it from the source. So Ian, tell us a little bit about the Bigo incubation program. And moving forward, I think we need to do a separate webinar on how you can merge the incentives from the Youth Technology Jobs and Program with the Bigo incubation program, because I really think it's a match made in heaven.
Yeah. I think the Bigo Singapore Jordan incubation program started, I think, in 2022, I think during the MENA ICT under His Majesty King Abdullah II. I think the reason why Bigo, we wanted to do this because we found a lot of support during our journey in 2019. Navigating in the Middle East, the MENA region is not easy, right? I mean, to understand the language, the culture, and what people need. And I think in Jordan, we felt as home when we started our Jordanian company, and then we had a lot of support when we reached out to many ambassadors across the regions also as well. They really like sort of opened the doors. So in return, the companies sort of say that, since we have sort of strong ties and we also have invested in terms of manpower, why not encourage more Singapore companies also as well to set foot? Because I think a lot of maybe people who doesn't really know much about Middle East may not even know much about the whole region itself, and maybe the incubation program could be a way to sort of give them a little head start, right? And I think what we provide during that time is we provide, business advisory service, networking opportunities for startups also as well with the relevant government ministries also as well. And then, I think how also maybe advise how to get employment permit, how to set up a company also as well in Jordan. And also, I mean, now we have, as Mr. Ode shared, there's Grow.jo. There's many of the incentives that they also can apply or during that time. So we found that, I mean, we have a few companies. I think Clean Kinetics was one of the companies that we've partnered with and then they have the office upstairs also as well. Using the facilities, and I think we link up also as well with the relevant ministry. And I think as what Mr. Wilson shared, right? He is still a early start, and I think there's more places that we actually can explore also as well with the Jordanian government.
It's really exciting, and it's always more exciting to have a success story on the same webinar, isn't it? And hopefully this is the first of many. I feel like when we're looking at the international landscape today, right? There's a lot of concerns, and a lot of people are thinking about how to diversify. When you hear news about different regions creating new tariffs, some certain roadblocks, and I think that even after COVID-19, we realized that for the health and the sustainability of any one business, you need to have diversification. And leading diversified teams is not something easy, but I think we have an expert on that. So Frank, tell us a little bit about your view on having a company that is led in multiple regions. How has that, first of all, what are the challenges? Because we know that for everything in the world, there's challenges, but also what opportunities does it bring?
Thank you, Dana. That's a very good question. And yeah, there's challenges, but a lot of learnings as well, especially challenges for us, because we learn every day if we go in different regions in other countries dealing with different cultures. And our employees, we have people in Kenya, we have people in Germany, we have people in Malaysia, and in other regions. And it's very interesting. If you work on a project, you get a different view on things and different learnings on it. And I think this is very important for me, as I have to lead the company, to get all these impressions. And maybe I'm understand things differently than other ones in different regions. And this is a very big plus for us from a knowledge side, what we can then provide our clients what we learned. And if we are looking back through our audits, what we did for cities or governments, in terms of the gaming esports ecosystem, the learnings from these audits was often goes back to talent development. And what I and this is really diverse in a lot of cities. If we are looking to the IT sector, we have maybe a lot of male working there, not so many females. So these are things where you can then say, okay, you may establish this program to provide this service or this, let's say, this education to several groups of your society, or maybe unemployment, so that you can scale up and go into it. And we saw a lot of these programs starting in Poland, in Germany, in Singapore, in Malaysia, in Jordan, and other countries. And this is what we can bring together. And what I wanted to say, it's about the gaming industry especially, is something that brings tech and creativity together. And this is what we love, and this is an huge advantage. If you have either creative people and you had focused there, let's say, on your development of skills in your country, or you have this on the programming side. And in this point, we can come in with our programs. What we learned from all what we saw, there are different concepts to approach to establish ecosystems and education programs. And what we saw, especially from education programs in our industry, there's one part missing. It's what happens once you get graduated. So if you provide a course and you get your certification, what happens next? And what we learned is we have to work together with the industry to find internships or even job placements for our students. This it's a program what we are starting to establish here in Southeast Asia in one country in 6 weeks around, where we do education, but we also guarantee our students an internship for 3 months. And I think this is something what we learned when we worked around the world, what is missing, so that we can put these pieces in place.
I think that is so exciting, and hopefully we hear news about the same program being run in Jordan soon, because it really aligns with our objectives as the Ministry of Digital Economy and Entrepreneurship and the Youth Technology and Jobs program. So another question for Ian, because I know that Vigo's experience in Jordan and also becoming kind of like the sounding board for other companies. We were saying in the beginning of the webinar that nobody really needs to work in a specific region anymore. The world has become so connected, and through technology, there are so many opportunities. Yet we've seen kind of like a steady growth for Vigo in Jordan, and we've seen, knock on wood, steady growth for Vigo internationally as well, with more and more users on your platforms. And I love the way that you also call them families, so you can create different families and you have family leaders. What do you think is kind of like the secret sauce of success that Vigo has been implementing to be able to really, one, tap into local talent the way that they do, two, grow internationally at the scale that Vigo is growing internationally at?
Yeah, I do agree. I think for us in Bigo, as we stick to our globalization strategy, it really sort of bear fruits. I was, since I think 10 years ago, whenever every country that we go to, we believe that we need to take on a very hands-on or human-first approach, then build tech later. Because as we can say, yes, tech can be remote tech. You can just build the product and then you just ship it out and hope that people will use it and spend billions to acquire users from there. I think for us in Bigo, we have to work smart, right? I mean, we don't just go and just, let's say example, we were just to do it in Singapore and then we launch in the Middle East and we don't have any local team at all. We get the user base. How are we able to understand the use case and the ecosystem also as well? How do we understand also as well that the features that the team, the people on the ground also need? So for us, especially in Bigo and in the apps that we build, what separates us from a lot of other tech platforms out there is that we are quite hands-on, like even with the local stakeholders on the ground, right? With the ministries, with our CSR initiative. And like I said, families is basically like a guild that we have for our content creators, right? How can we actually also grow the local talents in the market? Because maybe some areas needs a bit more hand holding in terms of how do we grow them to become a star on a platform. Let's say for Likey, short video creation. How do we give them training also as well, and the same time also as well in terms of us working with like the Jordanians. We found that in Jordan is a very good hub, actually a second hub for us also as well, to also serve in terms of other countries also as well, maybe in places like in Africa, in Europe also as well. So we also have, because of language, it's very important, I think, because they speak good English and also good Arabic, and also maybe some of them also speak very good, they have multilingual also as well, and then we're able to have this hub here to serve the Middle East and also Africa region, and also maybe some parts of some smaller countries in Europe at the same time. So I think for us, Bigo, with like no regrets ever entering. I think Middle East has always been a really, really big country for us, and Jordan as a hub to serve the whole Middle East region has always been a great choice. I think a great business decision that we have done so for the business.
Brilliant. So my takeaway from that is being hands-on and really investing in people is kind of the catalyst to growth. Frank, has that been your experience as well? Or what would you think is kind of like the secret sauce of growing in different regions?
I think what we find out is that a lot of countries in Middle East and Southeast Asia, they're not only focusing on the traditional industries, they also focus on the creative industries, what I love, of course. But I think this is really, really a good chance. And if we are looking to our industry, to esports and gaming, there is a focus now on Middle East. And we can see this not only from the press and the media, it's also from the market data. There happens a lot. And I think from what I know, first of all, Jordan has a lot of really good ambassadors in our industry. If I look to who is working in for example, Tencent, or if we are looking to your esports team, so there is something what you can spread out. What I learned, there is a good base in Jordanian in Jordan, to especially on the tech side, what is very important for our industry. And from our market research, what we did in Middle East, there's a lack of talents in this area. And Neom is not so far away. It's short. I think they are already established connections to other countries, to other companies, maybe in UAE. Also, I think that's a good source, but I think it's very important for Jordan to establish their own gaming esports ecosystem much more, because you have a lot of talents there, and you can create in there. I saw that when I was several times in Jordan, how talented people are, not only in programming, also in the creativity, and bring this together. You really can grow this. I think that's very important. It's a good start to educate people for your job. But I think it's very, very important for Jordan to establish a gaming esports ecosystem much more. You have all the basics are there. We know that from our research. And you can benefit from what happens around you and around Jordan in the other countries very much. I'm pretty sure about that.
Brilliant. Final question. I want to be mindful of everyone's time, and I know that we're running a bit over, but Frank mentioned something that I have to ask Oda in particular about, because he is such a champion of this topic. So we were talking about female involvement in technology. And I always say, I'm going to put it on a t-shirt one day. If you walk through the corridors of the Ministry of Digital Economy and Entrepreneurship, You're going to be so impressed by the caliber of female leadership that we have, starting from our Secretary General to the Technology and Jobs Director. We have such incredible women holding these positions. And we've been seeing that increase in the technology sector. So, Oda, since you work really closely with the companies and you pretty much know everyone on their payroll, I have no idea how your brain stores all of this information, but tell us a little bit, how have you been seeing the female participation in ICT in particular, and how does this field bring more opportunities to women?
Of course, Dana, thank you so much. Yeah, this is a very important and valid question. In Jordan, we've seen in the last, at least in the last 3 years since I joined the program, the percentage of women hiring, especially in the tech and tech-enabled field, is basically around 52% among all the hirings that are done through the program. It tells you something for sure. I mean, under the salary subsidy itself, we thought initially, let's put just a percentage of 30%, just as commitment and obligation on the companies to hire 30% women. But the whole thing, actually, now we're gonna do it in the other way around, to put 30% for males instead. I mean, 52% is the percentage of hiring across all of Jordan in the tech and tech-enabled field. For that, even you can see women in the tech field basically are more powerful than before. They are more skilled than before, comparing, of course, to like years ago. Women like even applying to study in the IT field, the number is increasing, and I believe so. So for us, the whole idea why we wanted originally to facilitate the hiring of women, but now we are even overachieving this percentage. And now on the other side, even the startups. So this percentage also replicated on the startups. So we wanted to support 250 startups in Jordan to scale outside, secure investments and deals. And we put a percentage of minimum 30%. And like for the startups themselves, we are now at 40% women-founded and women-led startups. And by the way, we have 2 or 3 startups, maybe one of the most successful startups in Jordan, led by women, if not founded by women. I would say this is a new era, a new age, even for Jordan in that field, and definitely more results will show very soon.
And we love to see it. Thank you so much for your time, Frank, Ian, and Oda. I really appreciate it. Of course, Your Excellency is Your Excellency Samed, Your Excellency Zaman. Having you on today, and of course, His Excellency, the Minister of Digital Economy and Entrepreneurship, is really such a testament of how we're able to bring the private sector and the public sector together to work towards a brighter and more beautiful future for both nations. So we're really thankful for your time and for having you with us today. And I love this representation, private and public. It's such a great mix, and it's always more convincing to our audience because you get to hear it from both. I see His Excellency Samed has his hand raised. I don't know if that is intentional. Oh, Bilal, can we switch to His Excellency Samed, please? I'm going to give Bilal a second to try to figure out the screen, but
Thank you, Dana. And I don't mean to interject in any way, but in just relation to Oda's comment regarding gaming, we were approached by True Gamers to expand their footprint in Southeast Asia. So we pitched them here for EDB, the Economic Development Board of Singapore, in the hope of them expanding from their MENA base and ex-Soviet Union CIS countries towards Southeast Asia. So yes, it is a two-way street, and the buck doesn't stop on just sourcing to Jordan, but also vice versa. Thank you very much for your kindness and allowing us as an embassy to facilitate, and we hope Mr. Ode to have specific feedback regarding the TDCX, the big outsourcing company's question to us regarding exact numbers on the IT cost, labor-related cost, and OT calculations, and in addition to other government taxes paid by the employer, which is a potential to bring one of the biggest outsourced companies in Singapore and the world to Jordan. And I'm truly appreciative of everyone's time. Particularly Ambassador Zaman, who took so much, and our partners at SBF. In addition to our Jordanian colleagues and partners. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you so much, Your Excellency. And again, seeing these prospects and seeing how hard and diligently our embassy is working to create opportunities at home is truly brilliant. So, of course, we will be sending you more information. If you had registered for this webinar, you will be receiving an e-shot with more information on the incentives, our speakers, and how Jordan Source and the Ministry of Digital Economy and Entrepreneurship can be of help. Of course, the team and I are always available 24/7 on 24/6 to answer any of your questions and to be of service. Our main aim is to make your journey in Jordan a successful one, and we're always here and happy to help. Thank you for your time, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your morning or afternoon, depending on where you are. And يعطيكم العافية.